Live.
Shit. Now it's
Go ahead, you're live.
Am I? Okay, I can't see the camera. Welcome. Welcome to Wisdom to Wealth, episode number 3. And we are live on Facebook. I have a time delay here, and I just want to thank you all for tuning in. Please say hello and leave any comments below, and we'll be able to see if we can answer your questions today or in the next episode, which is Friday. So Wisdom to Wealth is every Wednesday and Friday at noon, where we help build your wealth, manage your finance, and build your financial self-esteem. I'm Whitney Hammond, owner of Sovereign Wealth Management, and this is Theresa Pellizzari, who is a financial security advisor at Sovereign Wealth.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
As we all know, the non-essential businesses were closed down in Ontario on March the 24th. So we had a lot of questions coming in. People wanted to know about how do we manage our finances during these circumstances. So please keep sending your questions in to us, because this show today is answering 2 specific questions that came in. And those questions are, number 1, is a entrepreneur, and she says she'd like to know around saving under normal circumstances. When you have uncertain income coming in, you may have high revenue some months and low revenues in other months. How do you decide what to save and how to manage? So that's one question. The other question was specifically around COVID-19, again, an entrepreneur, where being on lockdown has either shut down your business and you have no money coming in, or you have uncertain amounts of money coming in because your clients have an uncertain amount of money coming in, and it seems to be a ripple effect. So they would like us to address those. So I'll start briefly and then go over to Theresa. So I've been an entrepreneur for 35 years, and being an entrepreneur is not for the faint-hearted. We're warriors. We do not have regular income. Sometimes it's feast and sometimes it's famine. And the people that survive are the ones that manage their finance the best. So this is what we're going to talk about today. Number 1, you need to know your burn rate. So we have a free offering. So we'll put our email in below, and we'll send you our free offering on how to calculate your burn rate. So what that is some people use the word budget. If you do not know what your minimum burn rate is, meaning that you might have a mortgage, food, car payments, whatever it is, if you know that I need a minimum of $3,500 a month or $10,000 a month, this is not the extras in the trip. This is just the minimum of what we need. You need to know in your mind that number. Then you need to also know in the other side of your mind what amount you want to make. But if you do not have a number attached to something, you'll be out there working not even knowing what it is that you need. So that's the one thing that I do. The other thing is, and I recommend this to everybody, all clients, is to have, and I do this myself, to have an account. So whether you are a sole proprietor or self-employed, you have an account where the money goes into that account. And then what you do is you pay yourself once a month or twice a month, whatever it is, but you pay yourself the same amount of money. Don't change it, okay? Because then it's all crazy. So you know your burn rate, you pay yourself that amount. And as you do that, you start to accumulate some retained earnings. And we'll speak to that another time, because right now we're trying to keep this basic. So set yourself up this way. So if right now, if you're short on income and you have nothing to do anyways, get this plan in place so that you have one account that will pay you the certain amount every month. So, and the other thing, I think we're all going to learn a lesson here. I know this lesson, older people know this lesson, is that save for a rainy day. So as an entrepreneur, what I've always done is kept money aside, knowing that there's always going to be a rainy day. There's going to be deals that come through. There's going to be deals that fall through. So that's how I manage that. And fear drove me. So that's another thing too. I have a motivating factor. I was always afraid of not having the income, the savings. So I ran really hard. The second question about the ripple effect. Absolutely. So to give you an example, I own a commercial building and I have business tenants that pay rent. And if they don't pay their rent, then I can't pay my property taxes, which are very high on commercial property. And I can't pay my mandatory maintenance, which is snow removal and landscaping and cleaning. So it is a ripple effect. So that's just a one simple situation. So the other thing is please know that this is temporary. This is not forever. This is like a 2-month shutdown. So for thinking in the future, it's a really good idea to start a nest egg and to leave a nest egg for these rainy days that happen. So for those of you that don't have the money set aside, there are CERB, C-E-R-B, and the Canadian Emergency Care Benefit. If you Google those, there will be some funds that you can access for a little while. But this is a temporary shutdown. Your sales will only be delayed. You will still get your sales. You will just get them later. And do not let fear distract you, because I think that's what's happening. I think that everybody's afraid, and they're all, not all, but a lot of people are panicking, and we don't have to do that. So Theresa, how do you look at all of this?
Well, Whitney, I think it's important for all of us to take advantage of this situation. It's a perfect time to transform our habits and course correct our spending. As you said, there's a lot of extra time on our hands. For me, I'm reading some books, getting back to some of the basics, and that's a perfect time to do it. You also talked about fear. When there's fear, don't get stuck. Take action. So if you just take a step back and you ask yourself now, in the past 6 weeks, while we've been going through this, your spending habits are different. What have you missed? What do you absolutely need? What don't you need? Even if you found an expense that was $25 a week that you no longer need, get that set aside for saving. So back to your point, Whitney, of making sure you really understand what are your expenses. And for many of us, we spend multiple times a month, but we only get paid 1 to 4 times a month. So it's really hard to keep track. Mental math does not work. So taking a step back, understanding what are some of those expenses that you haven't incurred in the last 5 to 6 weeks, and you're okay with not spending in the future, and then adjusting your burn rate to move that into a savings. Because when you do have that savings for a rainy day, the fear subsides. But while you have it, use it, the art of war, and you will feel better taking action versus just sitting back being afraid. So there's my thoughts.
I agree with that. I agree. Put it into action. This is the perfect time to slow down, to speed up. This is what we do as business owners. So in this slowing down point, this is the time where we look at what we're doing and what we can do. Having a financial advisor has proven that people have 3.9 times more assets. This is the time you have the time to sit down and ask somebody for some advice. We will put our email addresses below. And hi, Michelle. Michelle is a great follower, and people that follow and take lessons and learn will actually end up building the wealth that they do want. The difference between having it and not having it is just sitting down and getting a plan to get it going. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. And we will be back Friday at noon. And anybody that has any questions, please, again, we will follow exactly what everybody's been posting, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good weekend.